Hi students, this is Sujata Maharana from City High School Barampur Ganjam and welcomes you for today's YouTube live class. Okay students, how are you all in this pandemic situation? I hope you all are fit and fine at your home. Students, are you feeling bored? Your YouTube live class has started. Now get ready for the class. Okay, just hold your ears and say with me, English, English, English. I read English. English, English, English. I speak English. English, English, English. I write English. English, English, English. I love English. Do you love English? Yes, it is a very fine language. So students, in our day-to-day life, we speak so many sentences. Yes or no? So, in your last classes, as you have already taught, how many types of sentences? Yes, there are 3 types of sentences. Now look at the slide. What are those sentences? Number 1, simple sentence. Number 2, compound sentence. And number 3, complex sentence. So students, our today's topic is complex sentence. Complex sentence. Okay? Today we will discuss what is a complex sentence. Just look at the slide. What is the definition of a complex sentence? Okay? A sentence that consists of one main clause or more than subordinate clauses, that is known as the complex sentence. Okay? So main clause and subordinate clauses, as you have already taught. Clauses are 2 types. Just look at the How many functions? 5 functions. The first one is the subject of a verb. Subject of a verb. Okay. Take for example, whether you are intelligent, whether you are intelligent is not known to us, is not known to us. So students, subject of a verb means when the noun clause is used as the subject position, that is functions as the subject of a verb. You just look at the sentence, whether you are intelligent is not known to us. So here is the noun clause, whether you are intelligent. This is the noun clause, or we can say subordinate clause, and as it is in the subject position, that's why it is the subject of the verb is. This is your noun clause and it acts as the subject of a verb. Okay, take for another example, I know where she lives. I know where she lives. Here, where she lives, this is also a subject of a verb. Okay students, next, the next function is object of a verb. The second function, that is the object of a verb. You just look at the slide. Object of a verb, the noun clause, when it is used, the subordinate clause which is used as subject of verb, that is known as the subordinate clause which is used. The object of a students, the object of a verb means when the noun clause is used after the main clause, that is known as the object of a verb. Take for example, my father said, that he is going to Puri. Or we can say he was going to Puri. He was going to Puri. Okay, my father said that he was going to Puri. Students, where is the noun clause? This is the noun clause, that he was going to Puri, and this is used after the main verb, that is said. So we can say this part or this noun clause functions as the object of the verb said. So here this noun clause function is object of a verb. Okay. Next function is, that is complement of a verb. Now look at the slides. Complement of a verb, when the noun clause comes after be verb you know, is, am, are, was, were, or other verbs like seem or appear is called the complement of a verb. Take for example, complement of a verb. The problem is, who will bell the cat? Who will bell the cat? Okay students, here your noun clause is who will bail the cat, and it comes after the be verb is. That's why it works as the complement of a verb. So here this noun clause function is complement of the verb. Then next, preposition or object of the preposition. The next function is object of the preposition. Now students, have a look at the slides, that what is the object of a preposition. Object of a preposition, if any noun clause comes after preposition, it is called object of a preposition. Take for example, now look at the board. I have no objection. I have no objection to what you do. I have no objection to what you do. Here, where is your noun clause? What you do. What you do. This is your noun clause. And look at the board students, there is a preposition before the noun clause, that is to. So the noun clause which comes after the preposition, that is known as the object of a preposition. It is the preposition and it is the noun clause. So here this noun clause acts as the object of a preposition. Okay, take for another example, my mother is interested in what I do in the examination. So students, just find out where is your noun clause. Yes, what I do in the examination. This is your noun clause, and before that noun clause there is a preposition what? In. That's why the noun clause, as it comes after the preposition in, so its function is, this noun clause function is object of a preposition. Okay. Then next function is in apposition to a noun. In apposition to a noun, just look at the slide. What is, first of all, we have to know what is apposition. What is apposition? So students, when we use two noun phrases next to each other in a clause and they refer to the same person or thing, we call it apposition to noun. Okay? Take for example, in apposition to noun. As you know what is apposition, I have told you apposition means when two noun phrases against to each other in a same clause and they refer to the same person or same thing, that is known as the apposition. So take for example, the news that his father has come, that his father has come is true. So students, try to understand, the news that his father has come is true. So students, just find out where is the noun clause, where is, yes, that his father has come. This is your NC or noun clause. So before the noun clause there is a phrase, the news. the news. And both the phrases, the clause and the phrase, the news and the clause that his father has come, both are same. The news, what is the news? That his father has come. It indicates this, and this also explains this. So the both the things are same. That's why this noun clause is apposition to the noun the news. Okay, take for another example the problem. The problem that you can't do better is a problem. Okay, here also students, that you can't do better, this is your noun clause, and there is a noun the problem. There is a noun the problem. The problem, what is the problem? That you can't do better. Both these things are same. That's why it is the in apposition to your noun the problem. Okay. Then students, next, now your noun clause and its functions are over. The next, that is your adjective clause, or we can say relative clause. Okay, now look at the slides. What is the relative clause? Okay, the clause which works as the adjective. The clause which works as the adjective. Students, do you know what is adjective? In your last classes or in previous classes, you have already taught about adjectives. Okay, so now we will discuss adjective or relative clause. What is a relative clause? The clause that does the work of an adjective is called relative or adjective clause. Second point, a dependent clause that modifies the noun is called relative clause. And the third one, subordinate clause that begins with a relative pronoun such as who, whom, which, that, whose, etc. Okay, students, take for example relative clause or adjective clause. I met a woman. I met a woman whose children are hungry. Whose children are hungry. So students, now you try to find out where is the noun clause or where is the our subordinate clause. Sorry, we can say where is our subordinate clause which is related to relative clause. Whose children are hungry. Whose children are hungry. This is your relative clause. As it is tells about whose children are hungry. I met a woman. That specific woman's children are hungry. So here this noun clause or this relative clause speaks about woman. Speaks about this woman or speaks or it modifies the noun. Okay. And again students, this relative clause starts with a relative pronoun. Here is a relative pronoun, that is whose. Whose is a relative pronoun. Take for another example. He visited. He visited, or we can say he invited Ashok. He invited Ashok, who was a teacher. Who was a teacher. He invited Ashok, who was a teacher. So your relative clause is who was a teacher. Who was a teacher? Ashok was a teacher. Here Ashok is already identified and this is the extra information about Ashok. As students, relative clause is of two types. What are they? One is your defining relative clause, and another one is the non-defining relative clause. You just look at the two examples. The first example, I met a woman whose children are hungry. So students, here I met a woman. I met with the woman means the specific woman whose children are hungry. We can know who is that woman whose children are hungry. I met with that specific woman. So we can get the information of this about this woman from this clause. That's why it is known as the defining. And the second example, he invited Ashok, who was a teacher. So students, here Ashok is already identified. So there is no need to say some extra things about Ashok. But this clause gives extra information about Ashok. That's why we can say this is non-defining. Non-defining relative clause. Take for another example, I visited Cuttack. I visited Cuttack, which is the commercial capital of Odisha. I visited Cuttack. Cuttack, as we all know, I visited Cuttack, which is the commercial capital of Odisha. So here students, here also you see Cuttack is also identified, and this clause, this relative clause gives extra information about Cuttack. So this is also a non-defining relative clause. And students, there is a very tricky or peculiar thing. You just look at the commas. When there are commas, we can easily identify that those are the non-defining clauses. And in defining clauses, there is no need to give the commas. Okay. Next, our adverb clause. Now you just look at the slides. What is adverb clause? What is adverb clause? So students, when the noun clause is used as a dependent clause or the clause that does the work of an adverb, a dependent clause that begins with subordinating conjunctions, that is known as the adverb clause. We will see there are some list of the subordinating conjunctions. What are they? After, although, as if, as long as soon as though, because, before, even if, even though, how, if, in order that, since, so that, then, that, though, till, until, when, whenever, where, wherever, while, and unless. So students, take for example of some adverb clauses. When my mother was cooking, when my mother was cooking, my uncle came. My uncle came. You see, there is a subordinating conjunction when, and the clause is, adverb clause is when my mother was cooking. Yes. So when my mother was cooking, my uncle came. Or we can say when did your uncle come? When your mother was cooking. So this indicates the time of adverb. It indicates the time of adverb. Another example, he did not go to school. He did not go to school yesterday because he was ill. Because he was ill. Students, there is a subordinating conjunction. Can you identify? Yes, because. Because he was ill. So this adverb clause relates to the reason. Adverb of reason. As he did not go to school. What is the reason? Because he was ill. So it indicates the adverb of reason. Another example, if you work hard, if you work hard, you will pass the exam. You will pass the exam. So here students, this is the subordinating conjunction if. If you work hard, you will pass the exam. So this adverb clause relates to the adverb of condition. Adverb of condition. Okay, students, there are so many functions of adverb clauses. We will discuss in later classes. Okay, now come for a test. We will discuss some questions of this chapter. Okay, now look at the slide. There are some questions. You just try to give the answers or find out the answers. Very simple questions. Now look at the slides. Identify the main clause and subordinate clause in the following sentences. Okay, the first question is, if it rains, the match will be cancelled. If it rains, the match will be cancelled. Can you tell me what is the SC, or you can say subordinate clause, and which is the MC? If it rains, can you identify? There is a subordinating conjunction. If it rains, if it rains, the match will be cancelled. So here the MC is the match will be cancelled, and SC is if it rains. Second question, the milkman came when the sun rose. What is the SC? When the sun rose, it is SC or subordinate clause. The milkman came, this is the main clause. Third question, as Rahul is tired, he takes rest. As Rahul is tired, subordinate clause, he takes rest, main clause. Number 4, we eat so that we may live. We eat so that we may live. So that we may live is the subordinate clause. We eat is the main clause. Next, the man who committed the theft. The man who committed the theft last night has been caught. So students, just look at it, very important. This is the man who committed the theft last night has been caught. Here some part is at the beginning and other parts are at the last of the sentence. Who committed the theft? This is who committed the theft last night. This is your SC or subordinate clause, and the man has been caught. This is your main clause. Next question, number 6. My sister, who is very intelligent, is older than me. Here the SC is who is very intelligent, and main clause is my sister is older than me. Okay. Then question number 7. After we had lunch, we went back to work. So which one is the SC? Very easy. After we had lunch, this is the SC, and we went back to work, this is the MC. Question number 8. I waited for him until he came. there is a subordinating conjunction until. So until he came, this is the SC. I waited for him, this is the MC. 9. All that glitters is not gold. Very important question. All that glitters, that glitters is a SC or subordinate clause. All is not gold, it is the main clause. Question number 10. A dog that barks seldom bites. A dog seldom bites is the main clause. That barks is the subordinate clause. Okay question. Okay students, our next part, this is also a very easy part. Question number 1. Identify simple sentence, compound sentence and complex sentence. From those 10 sentences, you have to find out which is simple, compound and complex. First one, he lost his money but he did not lose his patience. As there is a coordinator conjunction but, this is a compound sentence. Question number 2, roses are beautiful flower. This is a simple. The sun rose and the sky got clear. Very easy. This is a compound sentence. Question number 4, he is not harmful. It is a simple sentence. I am sure that you will learn these sentences. There is a clause. That's why it is a complex sentence. Then question number 6. This is the school where you have studied. Students, this is also complex sentence. Question number 7. Our mother cooked noodles for us. Very easy. This is a simple sentence. Question number 8. He had arrived before the drama began. This is a complex sentence. Although it was raining, we went for a walk. There is a subordinating conjunction although. This is a complex sentence. And the last one, the museum was very interesting as I expected. So it is also a complex sentence. Thank you students.